FraudTax Audio, your number one podcast dedicated to the facts. We're sitting here with HBJ.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Been waiting to do this for a long time,
I know, it feels like forever. Man.
Feels like forever we've been trying to do this, but...
First time I was extra fried, was passing the caterpillar back and forth. So.
No, it's just about refining, the content and making sure we get the best stuff every time, and not skipping out on quality. So
facts, man. Well, I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
What does the name mean? What is HBJ?
HBJ, I kind of got that when I was living in North Philly. I had a roommate who used to call me like a little hot boy.
Hot boy?
He called me hot boy. And that basically was like hot boy like Jenkins, hot boy Jeffrey. He put whatever name on it because he just thought I was like full of myself. Because I had a motorcycle and I was like riding all around and I was getting like into weird shit. So he just called me hot boy.
Okay.
And we just, everything was cool. We were having fun. And when he passed, I was just like, yo, I wanted to keep that feeling of just like, what he gave me of just like that feeling of being like happy and that wildness and it's just like that hot boy. So I just put like hot boy Jeffrey together and it just like it kept that whole time of just like that wildness together for me and I wanted that in my music at all times.
Right. So
I appreciate him for that, yo.
That's what's up. RIP, shout out, man.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Originally I would say outside of Philly. I can't really claim Philly like that, but ultimately what happened was my parents came here. We lived here for a little bit around like Jenkintown, and then we moved out to New Zealand for about a year. My mom was a linguist, so...
Wait, New Zealand?
New Zealand. For like when it was... I have 5 brothers, but at that time my parents were like 20-something, and they like dropped out of school and moved to New Zealand.
Wow.
With me. And my mom was just doing linguist work there. Then we came back. I had some more brothers. That's when I lived. Up in North Philly.
So you have all brothers?
Yeah, I have all brothers. I'm from a family of 5 boys.
Yo, that explains a lot.
Yeah. That explains why I'm around the guys I am now, too.
Right, surrounded.
All of them are like brothers to me all the time, so I'm always around them, too.
Hell yeah.
They annoy the shit out of me.
So you moved back from New Zealand to...
back to New Zealand to around like West Oak Lane area, like uptown area. And then after that, we were homeschooled because I actually wasn't doing well in school. I was failing out of school.
Oh, man. Wow.
I was getting put into like Catholic school, private school, public school. I got kicked out of public school because I was selling weed. And I didn't really have a choice to do anything else. So my parents took me out, started to homeschool me, and took all my family to Europe. So we were just living in Europe. We like traveled around Europe for a while in like an RV and a trailer.
Okay.
And we just came back to the States and like I just went to art school. I just started going to art school. This is probably in high school. I couldn't really go to any other schools. I was like turning in a portfolio every year just to like pass getting through like high school and stuff like that to like the District of Philadelphia or whatever it was just to get approved. And then I got into this arts charter school in Westchester. So I started commuting up there and doing like more like theater, more like singing shit, music shit. And that's how I kind of got into like theater and like art and trying to get into college for like theater.
Doing that, yeah.
And that shit just wasn't for me. I got a scholarship because of the singing, but the people were kind of whack and I didn't have any control over the art and the work I had to do. So I dropped out of that joint, went to fucking business school for a little bit. And while I was up at business school, I linked with somebody at the job I had at Chili's, which was Stavian.
Oh, okay.
So me and Stavian, we were working at Chili's for a little while, and we were both, I was like just fresh off of like, stopped doing all theater shows. I'm not doing any theater. I'm not doing like anything. And I was just doing music. And I think just one day we just like peeped at each other, did music, and he started bringing all these people around, and I started to make like my first, this was around the same time I made Candy, which is like my first single, which is the first video that like I ever did. And he was just like, yo, I got some guys and I got beats and like we like make music. And I peeped and I was like, oh, you make music too? And he was like, yeah, bro. I was like, so he started to just bring Alex around.
Right.
And Alex was somebody who like just had like mad bars, like all this fucking like energy and shit. And it just kind of like, I was like, oh shit, like I'm doing the singing shit. That shit's cool. But it'd be cool to explore like another avenue.
Right.
And like as soon as like Alex kind of came into the picture, like shortly after that, like Keith came into the picture, and like I just think like off the rip, like I just started fucking with all the guys. And And I was just like, these are all like good dudes. They're all talented dudes. Like, we all should be doing shit together. Like,
right.
And then that's when
mesh.
like, yeah, and that's when they told me about like CLG. They already had the whole collective and everything, which was like CLG. And at first I was like a little bit apprehensive. I wanted to do shit myself. I wanted to produce and to sing and shit. But like I just fucked with everybody, bro. And like the vibes were right, the structure was right, and the energy was right. And it helped me get to like a new level of just like of moving. So now like that's why like I am where I am with everything in terms of like these new beats, this whole new movement of music coming out, like the traveling to Brooklyn, the trips to Maryland, like we're gonna be in Georgia. I have music opening up for for Diplo in DC. I'm doing EDM music, so it just kind of opened my world to just like having that root of which is like the gang, and just like also doing the music outside of that.
So you like always musically inclined? So you said before like how you moved around, you went out of this school, got into that school, got kicked out of this school, but all through these things, like, and you eventually ended up at an art school. Like, were you always like musically inclined, like artistry inclined at all? Like, do you think that when you were younger, did you think that you were going to be into the arts, that you're going to be into music, that you were going to be working in this capacity?
I don't think that I knew that I was going to be in the arts as much as I knew that I was going to do something that was creative. So I didn't know if that was like artistic necessarily or more like entrepreneurial or something like that. I didn't really know where I was going to take the energy. But the thing that I always had was the singing. My grandmother played piano in Salem Baptist Church. Okay. And she would always play for service, and I would sing with her when she would practice and stuff like that. And everyone was like, oh, you have a good voice. And that's kind of what started it off into music. But I always loved like animation and visual arts. I actually got like a scholarship when I was like young to come down to U Arts and just like go and just draw and take painting and animation and all this other shit, which also opened up my world to all this other shit. And I was like between like 12 to like 16, they just gave me money free to come to the school. Yeah. So that was a good look. Shout out to U Arts, definitely for sure, even though I didn't end up getting my degree there. They definitely looked out for me most of my adolescent years.
Right. Word. So you said you were in the theater and stuff like that, and I know now, like listening to your music and stuff like that, I hear the hints of like subtle, like I don't know how to put this, but like theatrical accents and like the way you and like how you choose to sing or something. Like I would hear something, it would remind me kind of like something I would hear on stage somewhere. Like does your that kind of background and that music in that capacity kind of affect how you produce or maybe like direct music or direct videos and stuff like that? Because you do a lot of work, you do a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it gave me an idea of the goal of what I wanted my art to be. Because when I did theater, it was an effort of so many people to make an amazing experience. And in a way, I feel like that's what a show is. I feel like that's what music is anyway.
A performance.
It's an amazing experience. Whether you're hearing it, whether you're seeing it, it has to be something that takes you out of what your everyday life is and puts you somewhere completely. Sometimes you have a set to do that. You have a set. You have cast members, you have all this stuff to do that. But at the end of the day, you can do it with a song. Right. So if you create that depth in a song and you create that wideness and that thing that makes you feel like you're in a different world, I feel like you accomplish making art and making theater. Right. So even though I'm making music, even though I'm making music videos, I'm still bringing you for 1 second out of your space to just be entertained and enjoy this, what I call like an act. Yeah. These are all separate acts, each song, all different projects, all these different people. These are different plays. Perseus is a whole different play. It's a whole different intensity. It's a whole different emotional level of just anger and eloquence that, is not in a lot of things, I was just telling him just today, he was just walking down the street and he was just talking in a way that was like a monologue. As artists,
I've heard that before.
As artists, we're not thinking of ourselves as people that are worth that. We're not worth being on stage just by ourselves and holding a show down. Yeah. We're not worth, having people hear our words. But at the end of the day, for me, I think that this music and this art, theater's not going to be around for too much longer. No one wants to go out and see a fucking play anymore or pay to do it. Right. So where are you going to get that? You're going to go online and you're going to get your experience on YouTube. Yeah. So where are we going to offer that? We're going to offer that through the music videos. We're going to offer that through the songs in any way we can. So we are theater. we are what's interesting.
Right.
We just have to rethink about how we're presenting ourselves, basically, and that's
Right.
how I feel.
Hell yeah, man. That was a great way to put that.
Thank you.
I read a quote today. It was something like a lot of people. I may be misquoting this, but this is the gist of it. A lot of people make art because they're dissatisfied with what's already out there. You know what I mean? Like they're dissatisfied with the standard of creation, or people create stuff because they want to saturate the water and change things. Like you starting off, like when you first start pressing record on music that you'd make, or you first start, I don't know, putting things together to make a beat, or like, I don't know, putting people together to make music together, collaborations, projects and shit like that. Do you have any ultimate like motive and goal when you create your music, other than like, I know you just said a lot about, providing that experience, but like what else is there that you're trying to do in Philadelphia with these groups, with these people, with the music, with the art? What are you trying to say?
I think it's what are we trying to say? I think there's a lot of people in Philadelphia that haven't had a chance to say anything. And I see a lot of people that are in school that come from other places, that just have the chance because they have the money and they have the background and they have the parents that have the this and the that. I think there's a lot of unsaid stories in this city. And I think there's a lot of people with a lot to say. And I think we're not hearing those stories. So rather than be a part of the group that's the gentrification of what we see as Philadelphia, you want to be a part of the group that is giving what it really is. And what it really
Most
is,
authenticity
is the people, it's this rawness, it's the experience, and it stretches so many different kinds of experiences. And for me, it's not, I'm not trying to, I think, be on any side, but I think the side that I want to be on, the people around me are clear, and that's the side of just raw authenticity. And I think most of us are reaching that with our music right now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you've been doing a lot of big things in the city as far as music and stuff like that. One of the things I noticed is your GoPuff campaign. Like you had a song that, I remember knowing of you. I remember knowing like, this dude's making moves over there. I wasn't probably doing what I'm doing now and shit like that, but I do remember seeing a lot and hearing a lot about this GoPuff stuff. Tell me what that was like and how that went down. Like how'd you tell me about that process? That's a big like nod.
Yeah, we got signed into the GoPuff deal through my friend Mike, who basically had my friend Tyler produce a song that GoPuff ended up taking on like their national campaign and going around the country with and like playing at all these universities. Didn't see that much money from that. So I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. That's not a dig or anything.
No, I feel you.
But yeah, we just got an opportunity. That was our first opportunity, or my first opportunity, really at exposure, having like more than like 300,000 people like view your commercial was kind of like, it was something that was completely new for me. But it also showed me like just getting that much attention is not what's gonna get you famous. So like, yeah, we did a little jingle campaign. I did a little singing thing. They made it into something. But at the end of the day, like that's all you can say about it.
Right. You're really versatile with your stuff, man. Like being able to do that and seeing that kind of success, like you said, 300,000 views, like countless, and that's a piece of content that they can take to their grave forever. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about the whole like selling your like content, like your creative art? Not, I wouldn't say selling, but like giving it to a business like that to like move on. Like say, like Toyota approached you about making a commercial, and then they decided to do some crazy stuff with your music and stuff like that. Like, does your perspective on like what you make over time change? Do you feel like at the time, like maybe this is a great piece of work, or this is like a great thing, but like, do you feel differently? Like, do you feel differently about things in the future? As far as like some collaborations and shit? I know it's a weird question, but
no, it's not. It's really not a weird question. It's just a question that like I think more of as I go along and as I deal with more people. You know what I mean? I just realized that, you can make a choice to say no and not work with someone, but you can also make a choice to say yes and get fucked, even though it gives you a good look.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of good looks that get you fucked. I'm gonna keep it like all the way to 100. Great looks that get you fucked at the end of the day.
Right.
You see Uzi.
Right.
Wherever that happened, whatever the issue is with that. That shit is that, he's not happy.
Why don't somebody go and deal with that situation? I don't want to get into this. But why don't somebody go and deal with that? I don't know.
I think that's label shit. I think at the end of the day, he just, when it comes to being a part of a label, I'm not down with that anymore. I'm not part of any label. I'm part of a movement, and that movement is COG.
Word. Hell yeah. So moving forward with this kind of, are you made music with one Mr. Evan Riley, right?
Yes.
You guys, that was
Evan.
your last project?
Yes, he's dope. He's going he'll be in Georgia this week headlining. So
Hey, shout out.
shout out Evan.
Talk about the process of being able to work in different capacities. Like you work with a lot of rappers. You do a lot of production for rappers. You do a lot of production for people that sing. You work with a lot of different artists. But like to jump completely into a whole like water with the EDM, not EDM, but like you know what I mean. This kind of like
well, I mean, I didn't
kind of field.
I think I didn't really have a choice. My first really successful song that I got signed as a single to a label was a house song.
Okay.
It was like a dubstep house song that I did a vocal feature over that I wrote a piano part for.
Okay.
And that EDM.com picked up. We signed, I signed my rights away. I gave them the song completely. It's on Pandora. It's on Spotify. It was my first +1 song that I think now on SoundCloud is well over I think 100,000 views.
That's what's up.
So and that came out maybe two years ago, 2.5 years ago. So that's something that's still in rotation on internet, and it was a good look, but it just made me feel like I want to do more house stuff.
Yeah.
But I realized that just wasn't the case. So I started to do more hip hop, and then Evan's EDM, he's opening for Diplo. Why not make a song with him?
Right.
If you can be versatile and do more, why not do more? I feel like if you pigeonhole yourself in one place, who knows where you're gonna pop? You're gonna plant one seed, you're gonna plant 10. You get more trees.
Right. What's the focus when you go into so you went in, did you help produce? I don't know too much about the credits of the album, but did you do production on that album as well?
Yes. So what happened was Evan ended up sending me maybe 5 or 6 tracks that he really fucked with, and he was like, sing on these. And I was like, fuck yeah. But at the end of the day, I loved the tracks, I loved how they sounded, but I wanted it to be me. And sometimes the only way I can get things to be me is to make it sound exactly how I hear it.
Tweak it.
And the only way that I can do that is producing it.
Right.
I never wanted to be a producer. I never wanted to learn the engineering shit at all. I just wanted to make something that was exactly what I heard in my head.
That answers another question for me, because I was definitely about to ask you, what does it mean? What's the advantages of being a producer, engineer, and a singer? You know what I mean? Yeah. And putting vocals down on the track. What does that mean for having a sort of company that offers recording services for somebody else, or working with 5 people that all work together? What are the advantages of having a bag in all those fields?
I guess what it is it gives you a clearer view just across the spectrum. You're not just somebody who is just sitting there just making beats.
Right.
My main goal is not to sell beats. Sometimes when you're a producer, you just want to sell beats.
Right.
Sometimes when you're a singer, you just want to sing on tracks and get in the studio. Sometimes when you're a painter, all you want to do is paint. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, I have a hand in everything, so I can kind of take a step back and saying, what would the painter think about the rapper? What would the rapper think about the painter? What would the producer think about the painter? What would the painter think about the producer?
Right.
It lets me be in so many other heads and assess and attack one song or one project from a lot of different angles.
Do you think that slows you up at all?
artist.
Does that slow you up at all when it comes out to putting out things?
Yes,
Talk about
yes.
that, because a lot of people nowadays, I think in this generation, we have access to technology. One person doesn't just do one thing anymore. There's 4 things that somebody does when you're walking down the street and you go, yo, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I do this, that, and that. And you're like, that's the usual thing for our generation. For people that may get slowed down and congested and that run into problems that may discourage them from completing goals and shit like that. Do you have any advice for people that experience that being,
I think the best advice that I've gotten are from the people around me that I choose to do this music with, because some of the guys that are around me, they'll know I'll sit on a song for a year and not give a fuck. And it'll be fire. And I will not give a fuck. I don't care.
Right.
If it's not right or it doesn't feel like I won't put it out. I had my friend, a fellow COG member, Keith, he was just he snapped on me one day. He was like, we gotta stop fucking playing and we gotta put some fucking music out. And I just sat there and I thought about it. And at first I was mad because I was I'm trying to make this shit perfect. But the fact of the matter is, it's just there's a lot of imperfect products out there that are doing really well. And sometimes it's that imperfection that makes something special. And sometimes you just got to go for it. You know what I mean? And I think that having the guys around me now takes me out of my own head of I want it to be perfect, and more this is what it is. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't.
Right.
Because, you know, we don't give a fuck. We're putting out the hardest shit we want. We're putting out the sweetest shit we want. We're putting out whatever the fuck we want to put out.
Right.
And if you like it, cool. And if you don't, cool.
Right.
We don't give a fuck. We're going to put out whatever we want.
Right. I remember hearing you say, like, I'm going to listen to it regardless if other people listen to it. I mean, I listened to it 100 times before somebody, like, you said something to me before that just, like, stuck. And I was like, yo, I'm going to take on that, like that mentality about it. Because it was just, like, real, like, self-empowered. You know, it's like, you were like, I'm going to, like, I'll probably listen to it 100 times before, like, somebody somebody else listens to it. How they going to, you know.
It's my art.
Right.
You know, this is mine. You're choosing to listen to this.
Right.
I'm making it for you, but it's got to be me. This is my art. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I can get really selfish with this and be like, yo, I want it to sound like this. This note doesn't sound like this. Fuck it. This song's not coming out. You know? And I'm okay with that because this is me. You know what I mean? Like, everything I put out is me. And if it's not genuine and it's not on point, it's not coming out.
Right.
It's not coming out because it's not me.
Right, and that's the thing
simple.
about just the thing about quality and like wanting to have that control.
Facts.
Hell yeah. Wrapping up here, man. Like, is there anything that you want to give kind of young artists out there that are trying to grind? They're getting their voice together. They probably just got their first set of equipment. And they're like, yo, let's start putting this down because I've been tired of thinking about it. I'm trying to having the motivation to do it, but not doing it. Is there anything that any kind of inspiration that you can give somebody just putting their first SoundCloud song online? Like, what could you say to them? And speak closely into the mic because they can probably be writing this down.
I got for me, it was find the right people because at the end of the day, it might just be you right now at the computer making the music. You might be by yourself. It might be nobody like behind you, but I guarantee you there's a group of people out there, whether it's 4 or whether it's thousands of people that will support you and listen to your music and say something nice. Now, if that's not the people you have around you right now, you know, don't show them the music. Find those people. Go to where you need to go to get your support. Do whatever you have to do to get that support. And make sure that you're satisfied with the support that you're getting. Because at the end of the day, 10 good listens is better than, I would say, like 20,000 like passersby. Because those 10 people can all comment 20 times. And like, even though 20,000 people listen to your song, they might not give a fuck to comment once. So you need those. You need that base. You need that group of people. Whether it's you have them now or whether you don't, you'll need to find them eventually.
Right. Hell yeah, man. Yo, thanks a lot for coming on. Can you shout out all your platforms and all that stuff so people can know where to find you and your music? No, wait. Give me the exclusive. I want the exclusive on the next project. What's coming out next? All
right. So exclusively, we're going to be dropping like a lot of singles. What I'm really excited about right now is that we have Perseus on deck. That's a COG artist that I think, you know, is really going to shine through. His bars are really hard. He comes with a lot of energy. We're getting music videos shot for him. We're doing a lot of trailers right now. You know, I have another producer, Stavian, D-Money Beats, you know, that are also producing the majority of the music. It's all in-house. It's only us three that are making these beats. So, you know, we're flexing pretty hard on that. I think a lot of people struggle to find beats. They just go on YouTube, and we have like maybe 20,000 just in the tuck for the artists we fuck with. You know, we also have, you know, Prophet's coming out with a lot of stuff. You know, we have a single with Prophet and fucking Perseus that I think is fire.
Okay.
It's called Freeze Tag. It's about to drop.
You said Freeze Tag?
Freeze Tag. It's definitely coming out
like
soon.
The game?
Yeah, well, more like, well, you know, it's like the game, but it's a little bit.
I haven't heard that in a long time. I was like, what is that Freeze Tag? What's that from? But I fuck with that. Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's what, you know, and we also have some STY coming out. I have a single with Stay Trippy on.
Okay.
That I'm really excited about.
He just put out a project, right?
Yeah. And we also did, you know, he was also someone I came out with right out the jump with Reasons. That was like one of the only 3 videos I have out. I remember that. So, you know, he's always going to be someone that we have in rotation pretty heavily, just making the music really just popping. You'll always hear him. You'll hear him on songs. You'll hear him as ad-libs. You'll hear him on everything. If you don't hear him one way, you're going to hear him another way. So, but yeah, that's, you know, that's the game. That's COG. There's a lot of other people that are involved with this whole, you know, this whole movement of just people from like the Philadelphia area. So I'm just really impressed with it. I'm glad to be a part of it. You know, this is my gang. These are my guys. And, you know, we're going to make history for sure.
Hell yeah, man.
CLG.
Shout out them platforms for me.
I got music on SoundCloud, HBJ 215. I got Instagram, HBJ215 as well. Spotify, type in %HBJ, %. YouTube, just type in %HBJ, %. Google me, HBJ, %.
Google me.
You know, %HBJ. Don't forget the %.
Word. And that's FraudTax.